fellow weirdos of the internet, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello. My name is Ray Rodingwell, and I'm a special effects artist, costume designer, character designer, and character actor, and I'm here to talk about my favorite things. So I'm really excited with today's video because I am going to be starting a series on my channel all completely dedicated to character design. And I think I have a very strong knowledge when it comes to character design. I've been doing it since 2014, and every year I try to challenge myself with new characters for the Han or something to be improved on by previous characters that I have been. This doesn't really have to be in a certain order. I feel like sometimes when I go through a designing phase for my characters, sometimes I'll get a makeup idea first, or I'll get a name first, or I'll get a backstory first. So you don't have to go through this in the order that I'm bringing these videos out. This is just kind of the way I decided to lay it all out. So the part that we're going to be talking about today is what kind of character. So when you're thinking about what kind of character, obviously if you are working in a house that already has a theme, you're kind of backed into a corner and you can only do so much with that character. There's definitely going to be something that will help you make your character more unique or easier to play off of using certain attributes that you have that you can incorporate into your character. There's a million different things that you can do even if you already kind of have a certain type of character that you have to work as. If you are like me, you're out in the midway, out in the queue lines, then the possibilities are usually pretty much endless. So I have two characters. I have Helga and I have Kit. Helga is my clown character and Kit is my asylum character. It's a very good idea to make sure that you match your characters with your personality, with your characteristics, demeanor, height, weight, everything pretty much. For me, I would not be able to do one of those creepy little girl characters because I am not a small, thin, petite girl. So those types of characters, it's very obvious that I am not a little girl and it's not very believable. However, I do feel like I have a little bit of a fun, random personality. So I feel like I can get away with being clown characters. I have some improv skills. So those types of characters work really well for me. So it's very important that you come up with a character that's gonna fit with your personality so that it'll be a little bit easier for you to act on. And then, you know, maybe as you get a little bit more advanced with your acting and with your character design, you can start to work towards characters that might not match your personality as much. For example, Helga is a little bit more fun. She's a little bit more of like a badass, cool kind of character. And it's very easy for me to banter with a lot of the patrons when I'm her. Also, clowns typically tend to be the thing that a lot of people are scared of the most. There's either a very big fascination with them or a very big fear of them. So no matter what that reaction is gonna be, it's gonna be something where people are gonna be like, oh my god, it's a clown, and you're gonna get pretty positive feedback. But with Kit was very different because Kit is an asylum character and she's a little bit more intense for me when it comes to acting because I have to be so sporadic with my movements. I yell and scream a lot more with her. She's a little bit more of a negative presence than Helga, who was kind of this like scary, wacky, cool character. She was more of a challenge for me to act as. I was wiped out the first 2 nights I was her. I was done. She was a lot of work. But as I got more experience with acting and I got a little bit more experience with improv and character development, I was able to kind of challenge myself to be her. So you can always keep that in mind as well as you start with your character design, to start off with a character that will be easy for you to play as so that you can kind of get a feel for how character design works and character acting works. And then as time goes on, you can develop other characters that are a little bit more of a challenge for you. When you're thinking about what kind of character, you definitely need to think ahead. You need to think about what kind of costume you could possibly wear. You need to keep the weather in mind. If you live like somewhere where I live, where it's very hot and humid and we don't really get much season, so during the fall time it's not nice, crisp, cool air. It's just as hot as it was during the summer. You don't really want to wear very heavy costumes You don't want to wear things with a lot of layers. If you do, your makeup will start to smear off, you'll get dehydrated really quickly, you'll sweat a lot, and you could really end up injuring yourself if you're not careful. So I usually try to wear things that are very light, very breathable. Most of my costumes have been dresses. Lately they've been jumpsuits. Helga and Kit both wear jumpsuits. So you have to make sure that you have that in consideration, as well as your makeup. You want to make sure that the makeup is something that you can achieve, or something that your makeup artist can achieve with the time given. With Helga and Kit, I do my own makeup, so I don't really have to worry about that. I know that I can get it done whenever I start it. But, you know, you might not have that luxury of being able to do your makeup yourself. So you definitely want to make sure that your makeup artist can do whatever makeup you're requesting them to do with your character. Same thing with prosthetics. You need to make sure that you don't have any weird allergies to any prosthetics, latex, anything like that. Another thing that you can consider when you're designing characters, maybe after you've done it for a little while, it's sort of like a weird subgenre of character design that I've always been very fascinated with, and that's making characters where their costumes are very disassociated to the point where looking at it makes you uncomfortable. Like for me, if I saw a very big brooding man and he was sporting a baby doll dress, that would make me extremely uncomfortable, just because the costume and the person are so opposite that my brain like doesn't connect the dots, and it makes me uncomfortable. When I first made Helga, I had this idea of her wearing a very tattered, bloody, stained Christmas dress. Saw it at Target, was super inspired to buy it, and $30 later, I was with this weird acrylic sweater Christmas dress. I'll put a picture up somewhere so you can see what that costume looked like. But I thought it was so creepy to have something like that, and attached to it was a clown makeup. Not a Christmas clown makeup, not an elf makeup. It made me uncomfortable because my brain could not connect the dots between that clown makeup and that tattered, gross, bloody Christmas dress. So those are things that are very cool, but they're a little bit more difficult to make because you don't want it to be like you just threw something together and it doesn't make sense. There has to be like a reason to it. I hope that makes sense, because it's a very fine line between making something where it makes somebody uncomfortable because the two things are very disassociated, and making something where it's kind of like you put on clown shoes and a schoolgirl dress and like an elf makeup. Like those are just kind of like random things that you pulled out of a hat. So that's another really cool little tidbit of information when it comes to character design. If you get to that advanced spot, it's a really cool thing to make, watching people get really uncomfortable with stuff like that. But that's pretty much it for the first part. This is just to get a general base of what you want your character to be, and then in the next phases you can go through and get a little bit more detail as far as names and backstory and makeup, things like that. So we will definitely cover those in the next handful of videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy me, you enjoy my channel, please subscribe, like this video, leave a comment. You can push the notification bell so you never miss a single video. Have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next video.